Hey guys, this video is about two things in regards to video cards. First and foremost, how much RAM do you need for your video card, and the general aspects about how you should base your system and your budget and all that. And second, how does 8x versus 16x SLI/Crossfire affect your system? So if you're running two cards, if you have a chipset that allows you to run both cards in 16x mode, or if you're knocked down to both cards running in 8x mode. So before I get into any of that, no cursing, no swearing. If you swear, I will delete your comment. I will hunt you down and slap you with the biggest trout you've ever seen. Alright? And yeah, because there's like little kids on here and stuff. So, and every time I post a video, the first comment's a swear. And what was I going to say about that? You could say WTF and BS. That's it. Okay? Otherwise, I don't care if I agree with you, like, on everything, like, forever, in infinity. Don't swear, okay? Anyway, video RAM. Alright, so, you build your system around your budget. I mean, you can't buy something you don't have money for, right? Alright? So, and, of course, you gotta, consider things like, well, I have enough money to take my girlfriend out for dinner after, right? Because it's nice, Or you could spend $1,000 on an Intel CPU. But, choices, right? So, anyway. So your video RAM and your screen's resolution, native resolution, is going to be a big correlation there. Basically, there's three screen types. There's CRTs. They're huge, they're clunky, they're gone. There's LCDs, they're what we have right now, and there's OLEDs. But those are still too expensive to manufacture. They're nice because they don't need a backlight, so they'll run cooler, I hope, would be nice. And they're flexible and all that. You can whack it with a hammer and it won't break, which would be beneficial for some of my friends of the more aggressive nature that I made when I played Diablo 2. Anyway. So we have LCDs, and the thing with LCDs is you want to run them at their native resolution, otherwise they look kind of not so good, right? So you got your budget, you got your resolution, you got to consider things, okay? Basically, you'd say there's maybe 4 resolutions you can consider, but I'm going to keep it to 3. You can get a screen with a 1680 by 1050 resolution. You can get a 1920 by 1200 resolution. There's also 1920 by 1080s, which are a lot cheaper, by the way. But I'll go into that afterwards. And there's the big 32-inch screens with the 2560 by 1600 resolution. Now, obviously, the vast majority of you aren't like going to go out and spend $1,400 just on the screen and $1,000 just on the CPU, etc., etc. Otherwise, you would have been doing research and looking this up and finding the video and all that good stuff, right? See? So at least you did an inquiry, right? So we're not going to consider 32-inch screens of 2560 by 1600 resolution. So we're going to stick to 1680 by 1050 or the 1920 resolution. Now, there are screens of 1920 by 1080, which are basically about $150, I think, roughly, on Newegg or higher. And the 1920 by 1200 resolution screens right now are just over about $200 or so, which is a bit of a jump for not all that much resolution. Let me put it this way. HD is overrated. I mean, there's more important things than sitting around watching videos. Like, for example, the fact that the Liberals just passed a bill which forces you to spend $5,300 a year on insurance, or they'll put you in jail. I'm not joking. Go watch the video. Go look at the source. It's in writing, and they'll put you in jail. So, okay. So, don't blow all your money on, oh, I have to have everything in absolute HD. It's okay not to have the most badass setup in the world, because guess what? You're going to get something new anyway in 3 or 4 years, right? So, let's stay within the realm of sanity. 1680 by 1050, boom. you only need a 512 megabyte video card. You're not going to see a big gain by going to a 1 gigabyte video card. Now, there are some games where that video memory might give you maybe 5-10% performance gain, but you're spending, what, 20 or 30% more just for that extra memory. You're going to weigh in on this. Do the research. There is a Tom's Hardware article. Who is Tom, by the way? Anyway, there's a Tom's Hardware video that covered this. But if you look at the general benchmarks, you're just not going to see the major benefit there. If you're playing at 1920 by 1080 and above, a 1 gigabyte video card is going to benefit you a bit more in those instances. 2 gigabyte video cards, really, I mean, if you're looking at over a gigabyte for video memory, you're going to be using that. It's going to go to waste unless you're on a 32-inch screen supporting 2560 by 1600. Alright, so you can get a decent 22-inch screen with a 1680 by 1050 resolution, 512 megabyte video card, and again, if you watched my previous video, wait until January 2010 earliest to buy a video card because supply, NVIDIA's not out there, the demand for the holidays, etc. The supply is going to go right up. No one's going to be buying video cards after the holiday. That's when you want to buy it. Hold your horses. I mean, I got a buddy who's got onboard 4200 graphics, just like my mom. All right, and he's playing a video game just fine. As a dude, relax. Stop looking at the cards. Go play the game. Don't be impulsive. Okay. All right. So 8x versus 16x on Crossfire and SLI. Okay. Again, this is about bandwidth. Okay. Remember when we went from AGP to PCI Express? There wasn't a need. All right. All this transition happened before we actually needed it. Just like serial ATA 1 to serial ATA 2, serial ATA 2 to serial ATA 3. The only thing that is even coming close to saturating the bandwidth on the serial ATA 2 port, which is 300 megabit, which is, no, I'm sorry, 3 gigabit, which translates into 300 megabytes, are SSD hard drives. But the read speeds and write speeds are topping out maybe 250, 275 tops. I don't think that's sustained either. So, right. So the bandwidth on a PCI Express 1.0 16x slot is the equivalent to basically a 16, I think, offhand, you can actually look this up on Wikipedia, I think it was a 8x AGP card, I think. And the PCI Express 2.0, actually I should have looked that up, but basically PCI Express 2.0 doubled the bandwidth. Alright, so, but if you look at the charts and you do the research, there's really no benefit from running a video card. You can actually tape off, you can put tape, I wouldn't recommend it, on the video card and block off those extra 8 lanes, put it in, and the video card will run in 8x mode, and you're not really going to see much degradation unless you're basically running on a 32-inch screen. So again, that's ultra high-end performance where like people are spending absurd amounts of money on hardware and they're going to throw it out like in a year because you want the cutting edge. So you don't need to spend big on the chipsets. So if you're going to get a dual video card setup, it's okay to run it in 8x and 8x. I really don't recommend getting a third video card for triple SLI or triple Crossfire. But by then, you're really not getting much gain for bang for your buck for that. So, anyway, so that's that. That's my recommendation. Don't be an impulsive consumer. Do some research, or else you'll end up in jail. Yeah. So, see you guys around. Thanks for watching.